population of Muslims is very large. I mean, it's the second largest religion in the world at almost 2 billion. And Muslims are so diverse that it's important for students to study Muslims if they want to understand our world. The minor is interdisciplinary so that students can appreciate the multifaceted dimensions of the study of Muslims and Muslim majority nations.
The Muslim Studies minor is an opportunity for students to learn more about Islam and Muslim societies, both here in the US and across the world today and dating back to the beginning of Islam. The minor is an interdisciplinary gathering place of scholars. You'll have a wide range of positions and interpretations, and students who take the minor will be able to get a taste for how diverse, how rich, and how complex the field is.
I've very much appreciated the way that the professors didn't shy away from the hard questions, challenging their students to think about it more rationally and looking at how things are actually happening, not just what we hear in the news. It widens your world viewpoint. You have a greater understanding to work with people, understand people. For my own career path, I want to work with refugee aid groups, so it just gives me a better cultural understanding of where some refugees could be coming from.
The Muslim world remains a hot spot as far as media coverage and policy coverage. I think it's really important for students to go more in depth than just reading some of the superficial coverage. They can select from courses in anthropology, in history, in the arts, in politics, in law, for example, in literature, and certainly a variety of languages.
It's really important if we are having these students as global citizens that they should understand things historically, and that Islam has such a huge, diverse history. And of course, like every history, it's not idealized, but it has made great contributions to the world. And it's very complex. So we have certain preconceptions about Islam, which are all completely tied up to religion. And I think what is really missing, and which is why I teach, is the enormous cultural productions associated with Islam. So if you think of architecture, art, painting, music, poetry, the great languages like Arabic, Persian, Urdu, that is what really drew me.
Part of Muslim studies too was becoming more familiar with the incredible diversity of languages and nations and iterations of the same core faith that exist all over the world, and learning to give those differences the attention and the respect that they deserve. Having an entry point like Muslim studies to better understand the history of the world on a global scale, but also, our more local communities in Michigan, it's a really powerful opportunity and an important one to become more empathetic and conscious global citizen.
If you just study the history or if you just study political science, you'll miss something critical. So we want our students to have a well-rounded approach. We have over 60 affiliated faculty members. One nice thing about our faculty is that we have some of the world's leading scholars in a wide variety of disciplines. We also have various activities through the Muslim Studies program that enrich the study of Muslims. For example, we have an annual conference, and this is a conference involving well-known, renowned scholars and address pressing issues, pressing topics.
I've actually learned a lot about different kinds of Muslims. I myself, I'm Sunni, but there's so many more, not only sects, but different aspects of Islam that I just never grew up hearing. As someone who wants to be a physician, I'm obviously volunteering at clinics, and a lot of the patients that come in are Muslims, and they come from different sects of Islam than I do. And so learning about Islam has really allowed me to connect with them, especially in a healthcare setting.
So there's a whole variety of different types of work that students can do with their degrees from MSU, but that having this formal specialization in Muslim studies in the form of the minor today really gives them, I think, some sort of enhancement beyond just their regular transcripts when they apply to other jobs or for future study.
The minor was both an opportunity for me to learn about the diversity of Muslim cultures and identities, which even as a Muslim, I wasn't necessarily always exposed to. And so I actually pretty distinctly remember some classes from the minor that I think had a really big impact on me and on my academic interests and just kind of my intellectual development in general. I then had a better sense of what I wanted to do after that, which is actually pursue a PhD in cultural anthropology focusing on the Middle East.
The conflicts that have kind of animated the 21st century, primarily global war on terror, have had effects both inside the United States and in the Middle East, based on that war, but also side effects that have shaped the international political arena, the international economy, and social relations, and have led to rise in global populism, of which Islamophobia is a really central element for a number of groups. And so therefore understanding what caused this, the effects of this, and what are potential ways forward for greater intercultural, international understanding, I think, are really important for students as they become kind of citizens in their own country, but also of citizens of the world.
Going into the Muslim Studies program really opened my eyes to kind of the diversity of thought in Islam. So I'd say it exceeded my expectations of how much knowledge could be gained from it. The resources that you get from these professors in the program are incredible. And the relationships that you can build with them, they are committed to sharing this knowledge. And I think that it can really help us do our part to greater understand those around us that, have committed to this faith.